Advertising in Saudi Arabia is not just about selling. It is a political statement, a social experiment, and a sociological theater all at once. Imagine a country where every change starts with a royal decree, and every ad has to align with that change. Where a billboard isn't just a board, but a test of boundaries. What is already allowed and what is still not. Saudi Arabia, for decades, a kingdom of silence, desert, oil, and conservatism, is now turning into a digital complex of modernity. Instead of camels, drones. Instead of fatwas banning selfies, influencers under state supervision. And at the center of this transformation stands advertising, once just a decorative add-on to a product, now the front line of a cultural revolution. It started innocently, with attempts to show itself to the world. Aramco, Saudi Airlines, banks began commissioning ads that looked more like patriotic music videos than commercials. There was no female voice. Music? Only traditional. Background? Desert, mosque, flag, king. But over time, the tone shifted. Drones appeared, dynamic cuts, electronic music, and, above all, people. With faces, with emotions, and increasingly, with women's ambitions. And that's where the War of Two Worlds began. Because if anything can trigger a national debate in Saudi Arabia faster than the price of oil, it's a woman in an advertisement. Femvertising, Saudi style, shampoo commercial? In the past, hair shown from the back of a mannequin's head. Today, a model in a cloud of golden curls, still covered but smiling, confident, looking straight into the camera and shouting, "This is my time!" And yes, the video will be flooded with comments quoting fatwas, condemnations, prayers for a return to tradition. But the brand knows one thing. In Saudi Arabia, the winner is not the one who pleases everyone. The winner is the one who is not afraid to please no one. Halal femvertising in one sentence: advertise women's strength but don't show knees. Talk about independence, but never use the word feminist. Show the smile, but within good taste. And always, absolutely always make sure your spot doesn't cross any of the hundreds of possible red lines: dress, sound, symbolism, political undertones. Influencer? Only with a license. A Saudi influencer is not someone who just posts a darn blessed selfie on Instagram. It's a person registered in the system, listed in the State Registry of Marketing Communication, with a license number. Because in Saudi Arabia, online influence is a political tool. And one phone call from Riyadh can end a career faster than any algorithm crash. On one hand, influencers here earn millions, work with global brands, sign contracts at the level of European celebrities. On the other hand, one wrong word, gesture, or outfit, and they become persona non grata. No warning, no debate. The billboard as a manifesto. On the streets of Riyadh, billboards now look like something from Los Angeles. A woman in an abaya, but with modern makeup. Slogans like "Dare to Dream," "Your Choice, Your Path," "New Era, New You." But those same billboards are removed almost instantly in smaller cities, or appear there in a censored version. No face, no lipstick color, plus a Quran quote. Marketing in Saudi Arabia is theater with many backstage levels. What works in Jeddah might not pass in Tabuk. What is trendy in Riyadh might be off-limits in Medina. Advertising as a soft power weapon? It's not just about selling products. It's about shaping the image of the country. Saudi Arabia wants to be seen as open, modern, full of opportunity. So, we show women in business, young people with laptops, startups, futuristic cities. We don't mention corporal punishments, gender segregation, or censorship. Those are non-advertising topics. For the government, every campaign by a major brand is a mini opportunity to signal to the world, we are different now. And in a way, it works. Many people in the West, after seeing Saudi brand commercials, think, this isn't the Saudi Arabia I remember from years ago. That is the success, even if the ad was mostly symbolic. But the boundaries still exist. In 2023, a clothing brand launched a campaign showing models in sports leggings doing yoga on a beach in Neom. The spot disappeared from the internet after 48 hours, following intervention by the Religious Council. In 2024, a dating app released a commercial about finding your soulmate and was banned from broadcasting. Because in Saudi Arabia, even if the future looks like Dubai, the past still sits in the second row and watches very closely. And that is advertising in Saudi Arabia. Not just a message, not just aesthetics. It is a system of connected vessels between government, religion, culture, and TikTok. It is a minefield you walk across in golden high heels. It is a theater where any scene can be cut short by a fatwa. But if you make it to the end, you can win the most loyal customer in the world. Because a Saudi does not buy only the product. He buys the message. And if your message is bold enough, but also modest enough, then you have just built the advertising of the future. Made in Saudi. Who really decides what can be advertised in Saudi Arabia? In Saudi Arabia, a billboard is not just advertising space. It is political, cultural, religious, and sometimes even judicial space. At first glance, it seems simple. You have a product, a budget, you create a campaign, you buy media space, and that's it. But in the kingdom, it does not work like in the UK, Germany, or even the United Arab Emirates. Here, first you ask for permission, then you ask again, and then again. And in the end, a single phone call from Riyadh can still pull you off the air. Who is behind that phone call? The three main institutions regulating advertising in Saudi Arabia are General Authority for Audiovisual Media, GAM, oversees all visual and audio content, including TV, online, and cinema ads. It can block broadcasts, revoke licenses, and shut down entire campaigns. Ministry of Media issues general guidelines, sets rules for advertisers and media, frequently citing national and Islamic values. Council of Senior Scholars, Rada Ulema, formally not an advertising body, but its opinions, fatwas, can effectively kill any campaign, even previously approved. Fatwa in marketing? A fatwa is not a ban in the secular sense. It is a religious opinion or interpretation. But in Saudi Arabia, a fatwa can act like a court verdict. If one of the influential scholars, for example, a council member, decides an ad carries an immoral message, that may be enough to immediately pull the ad off air, take down billboards, even prepaid, impose financial penalties, block the brand's social media, and even summon the business owner for a conversation at the Ministry of Interior. Example? In 2022, a local coffee brand launched a commercial featuring a woman driving at night, listening to loud music, and laughing into her phone. The ad disappeared within hours. Official justification: inappropriate representation of a Saudi woman. The brand lost 30% of its quarterly revenue, and the woman from the ad lost her Instagram account. The licensing system: permission for the future. Since 2021, every influencer, every advertising agency, and every company running a marketing campaign in Saudi Arabia must have an official advertising license issued by GAM. This is not just paperwork. In the application, you must list sources of campaign funding, the campaign's purpose, detailed graphics and audiovisual content, and even personal data of all key creators behind the campaign. What's more, campaigns are monitored in real time. Authorities use a digital system, partly AI-driven, that analyzes ads for specific phrases, images, music, editing styles. If the system flags something as suspicious, the ad goes into the red basket. That means an audit. What is allowed and what is not? Allowed content. Showing women, yes, but in culturally appropriate attire, usually abaya. Married couples, yes, but they cannot touch. Food, yes, but without overly sensual close-ups. Music, yes, but preferably traditional or neutral. Forbidden or heavily censored. Kissing, touching, suggestive looks. Feminist messages referencing foreign movements. Colors and symbols associated with other religions. Crosses, stars of David, mandalas. Alcohol, gambling, some video games, and interest-based banking products, riba. Self-censorship is mandatory. In Saudi Arabia, every marketer carries an internal censor. Agencies employ cultural compliance specialists whose job is not to be creative, but to avoid disaster. They don't ask, will this sell? They ask, will this get us killed? Takeaway: in Saudi Arabia, advertising is a high-stakes game. It's not only about the product, it's about narrative and loyalty to the direction set by the state. Vision 2030. If you are a foreign brand, you must speak the local language. Not just Arabic, the language of norms, limits, and nuances. What does religiously compliant advertising look like in Saudi Arabia? In the West, marketing often appeals to emotions, freedom, and pushing boundaries. In Saudi Arabia, advertising is the art of communicating ambition without violating sacred principles. Every campaign is a test of conformity with Islam, or rather with the conservative Saudi interpretation of it. Welcome to the world of halal marketing, where an ad must be not only effective, but also devout. Most people in the West associate halal with meat, but in the Arab world, halal is a lifestyle. Halal food, halal banking, halal relationships, halal fashion, halal tourism, and yes, halal advertising. Halal marketing means not only avoiding haram, the forbidden, but actively promoting religious, family, and communal values. An ad cannot contradict Islamic principles, even indirectly. The 5 unofficial pillars of halal marketing. Pillar 1. Modesty. No nudity, no sexualization, no flirting or intimate body language, not even in symbolic slow-motion shots. Even a lipstick shade can be grounds for rejection. Pillar 2. No incitement to sin. No promotion of anything that could create moral disorder. Alcohol, dating without a male guardian, mahram, gambling, risky speculation, certain Western cultural products. Pillar 3. Promotion of Islamic values. Ads should encourage honesty, humility, patience, community, and family. The ideal campaign serves social good. Pillar 4. Cultural intelligibility. Use symbols and language that make sense locally. Example: a woman without abaya, haram. A woman in abaya speaking about her career goals. Halal. Pillar 5. Acceptance of censorship and moderation. Brands must accept that their campaign will be judged not only by algorithms, but also by a human with the title of Mufti or PhD in Islamic law, who may simply say yes or no. Example: a women's watch campaign. In 2021, a Swiss luxury watch brand ran a campaign in Riyadh. A woman showing her wristwatch saying, "It's my time. I don't have to wait anymore." Symbolic? For the world, yes. For Saudis, too symbolic. The wrist shot was deemed suggestive. The phrase, "I don't have to wait," interpreted as a reference to the past when women lacked rights. Result? Ad withdrawn. Brand apologized. In the new version, the watch was presented by a man as a gift for his wife. What about music? Music is particularly sensitive. For years, many Saudi scholars considered most music haram. Only with Mohammed bin Salman's reforms did things begin to change. Instrumental, calm, ethnic music is allowed. Local rhythms are cautiously introduced. Lyrics, free tracks are preferred. Words are risky. Rap, reggaeton, techno, maybe in Dubai. In Riyadh, only in online-only campaigns, never on public TV. TikTok tracks, allowed but filtered through local agencies and compliance systems. What does a halal campaign look like? Example 1. STC, telecoms, a woman in an office, in abaya, working on a laptop. Calm, focused face, gentle oud music in the background. Slogan: the future begins with a decision. The spot ends with a male voiceover. STC, together towards the future. All values aligned: family, work, education, community. No scandal, millions of views, no bans. Example 2. A halal cosmetics brand, YouTube only. The woman talks about skincare without showing her hair. Shots of hands, eyes, product close-ups. Taglines: natural, dignified, your beauty, your decision. Description: Halal certificate plus Bismillah. Why does it work? Because halal marketing is not seen as a limitation. It's the native language of a market that is growing, wealthy, ambitious, but deeply rooted in faith and tradition. For Saudis, the fact that an ad respects the rules is not a minus. It's respect. Brands that try too hard to stand out with Western-style messaging are labeled arrogant. In short, halal marketing in Saudi Arabia is not an anachronism. It is a future-proof strategy. Real market power lies not in how much something shines, but in how deeply it resonates with the audience's soul. And a Saudi consumer's soul is tethered to God, family, and the future. An ad that forgets that has no chance. An ad that embraces it wins more than market share. It wins hearts and loyalty. How do you show women's strength without breaking religious rules or enraging traditionalists? In Saudi Arabia, saying woman in advertising is like asking, how much can we show before it becomes too much? There is no fixed algorithm that says you've crossed the line now, because the line moves every day, depending on region, mood, religious interpretation, and politics. Still, women have become the central symbol of Saudi transformation, and they now stand at the heart of many campaigns, but on Saudi terms. In Riyadh, femininity isn't advertised through sexuality, rebellion, or liberal slogans. It is shown through assertiveness without aggression, pride without shouting, progress without confrontation. The stages of women in Saudi advertising. Stage 1. The domestic woman. 1990s, she is mother, cook, housewife. Only a voice, never a face. Slogans. She cares for cleanliness. She cooks for her family. A devoted wife. Stage 2. The invisible woman. 2000 to 2015. Women nearly disappear from ads. On TV, they appear mainly in educational content. Western campaigns show them blurred or censored. Stage 3. The modern but loyal woman. After 2016, she returns. Different, professional, educated, often a doctor, architect, manager. In abaya, in hijab, but with a mission. This woman becomes the new brand hero, not a model, not a celebrity. A sister, daughter, engineer, leader. Mandatory elements of femvertising in Saudi. Dress aligned with norms. Typically black abaya or a medical uniform. Even abaya color can be dangerous. Bright red or pink may be read as provocative. No physical contact with men. If a woman and man share a scene, distance and restrained gestures are enforced. Focus on education and family values. She must be a role model, not an object of desire. Soft voiceover, often male, even in campaigns aimed at women, as a cultural filter. Slogans that do not attack tradition. Accepted, your dreams have a future. Not accepted, it's time to stop listening to men. A censored campaign. In 2023, a global fashion brand based in Paris launched a campaign featuring a Saudi model in abaya, but with a clearly outlined silhouette. The ad was perfectly modest by European standards, but in Saudi Arabia it caused outrage. Why? The model was dancing, symbolically, but in rhythm. The lipstick was bright. The slogan, "Don't ask, do," was read as social disobedience. Result? Campaign banned. Brand apologized. Fines and a broadcast ban followed. Survey data and moods. 61% of Saudi women aged 18 to 35 believe advertising can change how society sees women. 47% of men think ads exaggerate women's modern roles. 79% of all respondents say women in ads should represent good social values. Conclusion: femvertising in Saudi Arabia is not a revolution. It is an evolution in the shadow of minarets. Brands that understand this rhythm can become more than producers. They can become symbols of change, provided that change is not too fast. In a country where every woman in an ad is a potential fatwa, success is measured not by controversy, but by harmony. Reach under control. Influencer marketing in Saudi Arabia. In Saudi Arabia, there are no free influencers, only those registered and those who haven't been punished yet. In most countries, influencer marketing is organic. Brands send PR boxes, celebrities post stories, TikTok hums with whisper campaigns, and the algorithm does the rest. Not in Saudi Arabia. Here, anyone who earns from their reach must report, register, and be evaluated. Because reach is power, and all power must be controlled. In 2020, the kingdom introduced mandatory licensing for influencers. Anyone who runs a YouTube channel, earns on Instagram, promotes products on TikTok, collaborates with brands, must obtain an official influencer license from GAM. Requirements: no criminal record, commitment to moral and religious norms, declared income sources, consent to content audits. The license is more than permission to promote face cream. It is a certificate of state trust. Influencers are treated as semi-official faces of the new Saudi Arabia. They must speak well of the country, avoid criticizing authorities, stay away from sensitive topics, women's rights, religion, morality, political reform, and if joining international campaigns, report them in advance. And what if someone operates off the grid? Many tried. The system caught up. Influencer promoting dietary supplements without a license? Heavy fine. TikToker doing a dance to a Western track in a fashion collab? Account blocked, interrogation, contract canceled. YouTuber reviewing a controversial Netflix film? Demonetization, ban, and a recommendation to stop publishing. There is no freedom of content in the Western sense. There is controlled freedom aligned with Vision 2030. The state is building a real-time monitoring system, partly AI-based, that analyses video and text content, detects undesirable phrases and contexts, flags suspicious campaigns, forwards reports to the Ministry of Information. It also correlates data across TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and X. Accounts based abroad but targeting Saudis may also be sanctioned. Bottom line, a Saudi influencer is not just an internet star. They are a cultural agent, ambassador of reform, psychological test of the nation, and a political thermometer. Influencer ads work here only when they are legal, religiously neutral, patriotic, and filtered through all those sacred algorithms. TikTok, Saudi edition. What trends and what disappears? On TikTok, everything is possible. But in Saudi Arabia, only if state, religion, and the central censorship server agree. TikTok is a world of fast trends, instant reach, provocation, music, and raw authenticity. In short, everything Saudi Arabia fears and is trying desperately to control. At first glance, Saudi TikTok looks like anywhere else. Short videos, effects, dance challenges, product placement. But this is just the facade. TikTok in Saudi operates in hybrid mode, under Chinese moderation from Beijing, local moral guidelines, internal controls by the Ministry of Communications. Content that is fine in Dubai may vanish in Saudi after an hour. What disappears? Women dancing, even fully covered. Rhythmic moves are treated as sexualization. Music in the background doesn't save it. Dance itself is haram. Such clips are deleted or shadow banned. Emotionally or politically charged hashtags. Freedom, feminism, true change, true rights, true reform, downranked. Arabic equivalents like anger, struggle, women's victory are monitored. Bold fashion, heavy makeup, visible hairstyle, long face close-ups, often suppressed. Western content without localization. Re-uploaded US and European clips without Saudi context perform worse. TikTok promotes creators who localize. Riyadh in the background, Saudi dialect, local jokes, stats. TikTok has over 25 million monthly active users in Saudi Arabia, out of 33 million people. 63% of users aged 18-29 admit TikTok influences their social views. 78% of Saudi users say they seek Halal entertainment, aligned with religion and morality. What trends are promoted? Transformation reels, from traditional to modern life. Example, a woman in abaya walking down the street, then cut to an office, laptop, headphones. Slogan, I change myself for the kingdom. Backed by official state accounts, viral overnight. Patriotic storytelling ads. My grandfather had only desert. I have a startup. Short clips showing social transformation, usually sponsored by Vision 2030, Aramco, Neom. Prayer challenges. How to keep faith in a modern world. Many women participate, fully covered, amplified by religious channels, cooking stories with a moral. Recipes wrapped in lessons like value lies in patience, ending with a Quran quote or prophetic story. When TikTok hurts. Case 1. My hair, my choice. A Riyadh influencer shows her hair and says, my choice, my style. Nearly 1.5 million views in 12 hours. Then a blocked account and a summons to the Ministry of Information. Case 2. Saudi guys can't dance. A funny video comparing dancers in Dubai and Riyadh. Shadow banned in 3 hours. The author deleted it and posted an apology. Brands on TikTok. Is it possible? Yes, but only within strict boundaries. Ads require separate TikTok compliance approval. Influencers need a license and extra clearance for brand partnerships. Slogans cannot say, love yourself, live your way, break the taboo. Much safer, find your inner strength, do it with humility, be a better you for your community. Conclusion? TikTok in Saudi Arabia is not just an app. It is a testing ground for emotions, reform, and self-censorship. You want to go viral? You must speak the language of the future without cutting yourself off from the past. Be creative, but not provocative. Be honest, but never too honest. Because here, even a smile can carry a very specific interpretation.